welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're here with another traditional block, a play on a traditional block. I'm calling this one Hopscotch because it reminds me of those games where you jump along the sidewalk and then you go in and out and in and out and in and out. So it's kind of a play on a different quilt block that's a traditional one. So this is going to be a lot of fun when we're sewing, but first we have to do our shout out. Now Julia at Easy Piecy Quilts has just started her channel. When we're filming this, I just subscribed to her this morning, and she is just brand new channel, and it looks like we're going to have some fun over there. So it's a surprise shout out for her. She doesn't know what's coming, so when you go over there to check her out, tell her that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. The other thing you're going to find in the show notes or the description boxes below, or the see more, like that, depending on what device you are using, it is going to be our Facebook group, which is growing rapidly. We're making use of the virtual sew rooms, and we're having a lot of fun sharing photos and asking questions. They're doing fabric swaps, which is so much fun for the members. So if you get a chance to check out that Facebook group, please do. We also have the Zoom sew dates listed out as to what date they are from now until the end of the year. So you're welcome to attend those, and those Zoom ones are different than the Facebook group rooms. So if you don't have a Facebook account, you can still join us once a month through the Zoom. Also, you'll find all the cutting instructions and the size of the block down in those cutting instructions. You'll find all of that there in the description. So that's really important that you go look there. So come on in. We've got a lot of sewing to do today. Okay, so here we are. This is the block. Now, these blocks are 2.5 by 4.5 and then 2.5 square, right? People have been asking, please show us blocks like this. Okay, so here we are. Now, basically, there is no hard parts on this, but I tend to do, you know, I tend to keep sewing until I no longer can sew. So I'm going to take this piece and this piece, and okay, that's the top. Make sure I've got all my stuff together, and there we go. So I got a little pair of scissors here. So this is the top row. Just got a little, there we go. Take this, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to press to the dark, or in this case the black. So I'm going to roll this over, and I'm going to sew together as much of it as I can before I have to. There we go. Just get as much of this sewn together as I can, because I have a cat. And, you know, every once in a while, you know, he'll jump up here. If I'm not very vigilant about keeping the door closed, and, you know, then there's stuff everywhere. So, and this one, because none of the seams are matching up, it all works. It all works together. So, you're going to take one row, or one part of it. Here we go. And I just lay it back the way it was. And I mean, you can make this any color you want. You know, color X, whatever colors you want. I decided to go with a black and white thing going on, but you could do whatever you want, right? I mean, I have lots of black, printed blacks that are fun. There. Now the way I'm keeping track of this is I'm sewing from this side over, right? And there. So then I take the next piece that I can sew, and then I run the last bit of this through the stripes. When you're doing scrappy and you're doing colors, like, you know, well, I mean, I'm doing black, so I've got a lot of polka dot stuff, and I do have some graphics, and I have some other, you know, scales, but I do try and put in things like stripes and that too. Otherwise it starts looking very too similar, too monotonous. So now I've sewn as much as I can. I've still got this piece here, goes down here. So we're going to start putting the rest of it. We take another start, and we start at the top, and there we go. Okay, I get that off, and I just press to the dark, and the next one. Yeah. Oh, I gotta tell you, I've had some lovely speaking engagements. I have met so many really nice ladies. I just can't believe it. Now I'm going to press this one open just because I believe the block will lie flatter. This seam gets pressed open because it does put, it's going to lay a little bit, just a hair flatter. And I think that's what we all are aiming for, is flat blocks. And if we can, we don't have to worry about dark or light because they're both black. But I know the argument starts with press over or press open. And it's whatever is making you comfortable, whatever you think is working best for you. That's what it's going to come down to. Sometimes I press over, sometimes I press open. You know, it all depends on what I'm doing. Here we go. Put another one down. And yeah, so I've had some lovely speaking engagements. My goodness, I've met some lovely people. I seriously am so grateful to all of the people that say such kind words in the comments. And it has just been such a blessing for me. And it's kind of hard to say thank you to all that, right? I mean, because it's, in a way, it's overwhelming. How many beautiful people, lovely people I chat with from all over now. It is amazing. Okay, so now I could run a plug to get this last piece that's going to go on here, but I'm going to start sewing stuff together. So, what I do, now this should measure the same as the one should measure the same as the other. So it's going to measure 12 and a half unfinished. And what you do, none of the seams have to line up. All you have to worry about is that the seams are all going the right way. Okay, so as you're going through this, you want to make sure if it's going to go press to the dark, what's happening, and I'm out of bobbin. Well, that's... It happens to everybody. It happens to every one of us. So let's just get that bobbin fixed up. Here we go. Yeah. Ugh, what is wrong here? And my foot fell off. There we go. Okay, let's get the bobbin. Because chances are I was sewing lots yesterday, trying to get orphan block stuff done. And when we're filming this, I know we're kind of putting a bunch of filler programming in on that orphan block challenge, because the last part of this orphan block challenge is taking a really long time. So I was not prepared for for stuff taking weeks to finish. So yeah, it's kind of been, oh dear. Okay, so let's get this started again. Just right there. Yeah, stitch or two backwards. And we want everything to lie the way we finger pressed it. Or if you have an iron close at hand, that's the way you're... Now, this seam here goes that way. This one right here. And you want to make sure that stays that way. Otherwise you're going to have black showing through. Okay. So the next seam, you'll line up the front. There we go. And you line up the back. And if you find one is just a hair longer than the other, put that one on the bottom. Okay, there we go. I'll make sure that's flipped the right way. Yes, it is. Okay, let's get that top one off. Okay. Now, this now just folds that way. You just fold it up. You want to put the bigger black, you want to put the black going that way. You want to put this seam here pointing that way at the back, right? Okay. Okay, let's get the last one on under. Okay, now I'm going to finger press that one up like so. There we go. There. Nice. So now I'm going to put these two together because this one goes on the bottom. So I'm going to get this board out of the way. There we go. These are fun scrappy too. You know, all the blocks go in all different directions. And line up your edge on the bottom, the other side, there we go. Okay. Now here's where I'm going to put a leader ender in. And so far that's the only leader ender I've had to sew, right, was this, because I have nowhere to go with this sewing until I put a leader ender through. And the leader enders do save on thread. Even though this is a rather large leader ender, this leader ender does save thread in the long run. Oh dear. Because eventually you've got to sew this. So you might as well sew it in between, and the waste thread then is at the end of this block, right? Okay. So this gets pushed this way because you want most of the black. Okay, I'm just going to finger press this out of the way like always. This gets pressed in to itself. Okay. Oops, here we go. Now, the last bit goes like this. Or it goes like this, sorry. So, we're going to, there, press this. Okay. Those, I had lots of these blue and white 4-patches as leader enders because I did so many of them when we were doing the orphan block challenge. And I probably have enough now to make a baby quilt. So that, in case you were wondering what I was doing with them, that's what I'm doing. I'm making a baby quilt for charity. And that's going to be kind of cute. So I just crank these open and pop this open a little bit better. There we go. And that's the block that I made for this. Now I'm going to just run another one through just to get this off, this piece off here, and I'll show you, I'll explain better how the seams go, because that's important that you get that. There we go. Line that, run it through, line this up, line up your next neck, there we go. Okay. So, now with this, I'm going to press this way. Now I'm going to show you the back while we've got the close-up camera here. So, these always get pressed in, right? This always gets pressed out. And that way you don't have, it doesn't matter what color you're using, you won't have colors showing through your front, right? In case you have something that's a little on the thin side or whatever. Now, when you're laying these out on a quilt, one goes this way, the next one goes that way, right? So you don't have to worry about trying to match up seams here either. So let's get to our ta-da moment. Okay, here's our cute little hopscotch block. And it was a lot of fun to sew together. It didn't take long. Now this one uses those jelly roll races, or 2.5-inch strips that everybody has, and the 2.5-inch squares, right? So this one, you saw how fast I put it together. It didn't take long. Now, when you're putting these in a quilt, you have a couple of options. You have two options. You can either go like this, and then like this on the next block, and then back and forth like this. Or you can go end to end, right? Like this side would then end up over here, right? So you could just make long strips. It would look like a zipper almost. Or you could play around with this and do all sorts of things with it. Put it on point, you know. Yeah, there's all sorts of fun little layouts you can do. Now I did a black and white. You could do this multicolored. But I would suggest a low volume that at least you can see your color bits, right? So you wouldn't go really light color, you go mediums in your color areas, not necessarily your darks, but you would get a good graphic, then it would be good, especially if you held a very low volume along the edges, right? So, but I'm kind of interested in hoping that you try this and, post some pictures within the Facebook group. It'd be fun to see your interpretation of this little hopscotch block. So, until we meet again, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week ahead and everything goes great for you. Okay, you take care until then. Bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for all of the amazing people that we have met along this crazy YouTube adventure that we've been having. We do free speaking engagements too, so if you're part of a guild and they're looking for people to talk and, and chat with, in their monthly meetings, tell them that I'm doing free ones just to help the guilds out, because it's been a tough time for the guilds as well. Share, like, and subscribe with your friends, make sure that they're, they get the word out on us. That's the best way you can do to help us out. So until we meet again, I want to thank you. Okay, goodbye.